Hi, welcome back to the Power of Model Drawing. Now, today we are going to look at the last lesson on our P4 model drawing lesson. Alright, so what's going to happen is we are going to look at before and after model, and this time the problems are going to be challenging. So let's see how we are going to draw out the model. So like what we mentioned last week or the last many lessons, when you draw the model, it is about drawing, or it's never about solving. Alright, the solving will always come later. So as long as you can draw out the problem, right, then you will see that actually it's quite easy to solve if you can look at your model that you have drawn. Alright, so let's look at example 1, and now we are going to revise the concept of before and after, and we are going to recognize what is unchanged or everything changes, and then we focus on drawing out every sentence. So example 1, now Eve and Fiona had $342 altogether. After Eve spent 1/4 of her money, so how do you interpret this fraction? Now, every time you see a fraction, you need to ask, what does the fraction refers to? Now, it refers to whatever that's just behind, which is her money. Alright, so this fraction, which is 1/4, refers to her money. And if you break it down, alright, what does the 4 refers to? What does the 1 refers to? Now, the 4 is the denominator, that's the total parts of her money. And the 1 refers to how many boxes, or how many boxes did she spend. So out of 4 boxes of money, she has spent 1 box. So you need to break down the fraction in order to be able to draw out the model later. And Fiona spent $27. And after that, they had the same amounts of money left. So that's your after. So how much money did Eve have at first? Alright, now we are now going to think about how to solve. Alright, so we're going to draw out the sentence, and then from the model, we are going to look at how to solve. So you have 2 persons, Eve and Fiona. So let's draw out the before model. So Eve and Fiona. Now, if you read the question, do we know how much? Do we know whether Eve has more money or Fiona has more money? We are not sure because the question never really says. So we can actually assume, right? But if you are not quite sure how to draw the first sentence, never mind. You can always go jump the first sentence and go and read the second sentence, and you draw out the second sentence. Now, Eve spent 1/4 of her money, so which means that Eve has 4 boxes. So you draw 4 boxes, and Eve spent 1/4, which means that that 1 box is gone, right? This one box is gone. Now, why do I draw a dotted line? Because dotted line shows you that something is going to be equal, right? Dotted line is to represent equal parts that you are going to draw later. So that's why we have a dotted line. And then Fiona spent $27, and then she's going to have the same money left as Eve. So if I were to draw Fiona's money left, that will be the same, or that will be until the dotted line. So the Fiona's money left is the same as 3 boxes on top. After Eve has spent 1 box, she has 3 boxes left, and Fiona has the same amounts of money left as Eve. That's why Fiona's rectangle is until the dotted line. Alright, now we don't know whether who has more money, so we can assume. So maybe let's assume that Fiona has more money. So I'm going to draw out Fiona's rectangle even longer, and this is the money that she has spent, right, which is $27. Alright, so Eve spent 1/4 of her money, and Fiona spent $27. And then what do you see? In the end, they have equal amounts of money left. So the leftover will be here and over here. Okay, so focus on drawing out the sentence. Don't worry about the solving. Alright, once you can draw the model, you will see how to solve later. So altogether, how much money they have. So the first sentence that we skipped because we couldn't draw at the beginning, now we can add on to the model. So both of them had $342 altogether, and that's where you put at the side. So how much money did Eve have at first? So your question mark is over here. Okay, now we can actually put the question mark below over here like this. Okay, so up to you where you want to put the question mark. If you don't want to put the question mark because you don't want to make the model too messy, it's also fine. So it's really up to you. Alright, so the model is done already, right? So once you have drawn the model and there's nothing else to draw, what do? We start calling every box, right? Equal boxes, we call them 1 unit. So over here, we start indicating 1 unit to show the equal boxes. All right. Then what do we do next? Now, if you look at Fiona's money left, that is the same as 3 units. So I'm going to cut. All right, I'm going to cut into 3 units as well. So what happened over here? I'm going to just cut 3 boxes, and I'm going to call them 1 unit as well. So 1 unit, 1 unit, and 1 unit. Okay. All right. Then how do we find the question mark? Okay, we can find already. So the purpose of model drawing is to make units out of the model. So whatever that is not units, we don't want it. All right. So what happened is, if you look at the model that Eve and Fiona have all together, right? How much money they have all together at first? So Eve has 4 units at first, and you plus Fiona, which is 3 unit and $27. So you plus them together, that will give you their total money at first, which is $342. Alright, then what do? You add up the units. So 4 plus 3, that will be 7 units plus 27, and that gives you $342. Alright, then can we now find how much is 7 units? So that will be 342, and you minus 27. So 342 minus $27. So your 7 unit is actually $315. So that's the purpose of model drawing, is to find how many unit is how much in order to find 1 unit. Alright, so that's why we need to draw model, so that we can try to work out what is 1 unit. So you divide by 7. 315 divided by 7, the 1 unit is $45. And the moment you can get 1 unit, you can solve the problem. So Evelyn has 4 units at first. So how much is 4 unit? So you will take 45, and then you times 4. So Evelyn has $180 at first. And that's how we solve the problem. Oh, Eve. Alright, it's not Evelyn. So how much did Eve have at first? $180. Right? So what have I shown you in this challenging problem? Now, it's the drawing that counts first. Right? You always try to focus on drawing out the sentences, and then once your drawing is done, then you look at your model, and then you try to come up with the steps, right? By writing out your unit statements. Alright, let's go to another one. Equally challenging, but you have this method called model drawing, so it should not be hard anymore. Now, David had 351 more stamps than Eden, that's the before. After he had given 54 stamps to Eden, that's the change. Then David has twice or 2 times as many as Eden, that's the after. So how many stamps did David have at first? Well, it looks quite confusing, right? Oh, by the way, if you go back to the earlier example, what is unchanged? If it's a before and after, what is unchanged? And we forgot to talk about that. Now, Eve spent money. Fiona also spent money. So their money have become lesser. How about their total money? Their total money also became lesser. Then how about the difference? How do we check whether the difference is changed or not changed? You need to ask, did they spend equal amounts of money? Right, the question number says they spend equal amounts, so the difference is also changed. So in other words, everything has changed. Alright, so everything changes in this problem. Alright, if you go to example 2, what is unchanged or everything changes? Now, there is a transfer going on in this problem. Now, David gave 54 to Eden, so you see a transfer. So when you see a transfer, then the total is unchanged. Alright, and we can still draw the model, right? Okay, so let's draw the model. Now, focus on the first sentence. Alright, when you draw the model, you always start from the beginning to the end. So David had more than Eden. So David and Eden. And when you draw your comparison model, draw a long rectangle for David and a short rectangle for Eden. Why? So that you can see the difference very clearly. Alright, and later on, you are going to what? You are going to transfer, right? Do some transferring. Alright, so David had 351 more. So if you know that the model is going to be a bit hard to draw, then don't put 351 into your boxes. Alright, so I will rather put 351 outside. Keep the inside of the model clean. Alright, if you are not sure how to draw out the problem. Right, so that is how you draw the first sentence. After he had given 54 to Eden, so David is going to give 54 to Eden, and now you will see why you need to draw a long rectangle for David and a shorter one for Eden, because David is going to give 54, so this box is going to be taken out and put beside Eden. Okay, put over here. Okay, And so if your model in the before is if you have two rectangles of about the same length, then you will find it very hard to find the difference in the end. Alright, for example, alright, after David has given away, alright, so how does his rectangle looks like after he has given away? It will look like this. Alright, it will look like this. So now David's rectangle has become shorter, and Eden's rectangle has now become a bit longer. Right, has become longer. And can you still see the difference, which is the after? So you will be able to see the difference quite clearly if you have a longer rectangle for David at the beginning and a shorter rectangle for Eden. Right, if you draw them about the same length, then it's going to be very hard to find this difference. Alright, which is the difference in the end. Okay, so it's going to be very hard. So that's why when you draw your model, if it's a comparison model, you always draw one long rectangle and one short rectangle, so that if you do any transferring, right, you can still see the difference very clearly. Okay, but let us just undo, right? Undo some of this highlighting. Alright, because we are now looking at the before model. So your before model is something like this. Alright, now how are we going to draw the after model? Now, in the after model, David is going to have twice as many as Eden. Okay, so here we go. Right, the after model, when you draw your after model, your rectangles must always start at the same side, at the dotted line. And David's rectangle is until where now? So after David has given 54, his rectangle is going to be until the dotted line. So you are going to draw the after model for David until here. Okay, until the dotted line. Alright, so make use of dotted line to also show you where do you draw your model until. Alright, then Eden received 54, and his rectangle in the after is going to be until the dotted line as well. Okay, so when you draw a dotted line, try to draw a straight line downwards. So Eden's rectangle is until the dotted line. So he has more, right? He has more now. Okay, so and then you can see the difference, right? The difference in the end is that's the difference, right? Okay, so do we need to know the difference? We may not need to know. Okay, but nevertheless, let's continue to add onto the model. So in the end, David has 2 times as many. So you don't want to cut David's rectangle into 2 boxes because Eden has 1 box or 1 time. But if you look at Eden's box in the end, that is quite long. So we don't want to erase and redraw again. So what do? We are going to just draw an arrow sign to show that it's 2 times or 2 units. Okay, and for Eden, I'm going to put the 1 unit outside. Okay, why? Always keep the inside of the rectangles very clean so that you can do something else later. You can put whatever numbers you want inside later. The moment you put 1 unit into Eden's rectangle, then you can't do anything inside already because the 1 unit is taking up the space in the box. So, guideline, when you draw a model, if the problem is a bit hard and you don't quite know how to draw the model, what do? Put the numbers outside, keep the inside of the boxes very clean, alright, as much as possible, and then later on you will see how the model looks like, alright, at the end of your drawing. Alright, so how many stems did David have at first? So your question mark is to find the stems that David had at first. Alright, and your model is done. Alright, this is how your model looks like without solving. Alright, so you are just focusing on the drawing, and again, when you draw your model, it may be different from Mr. Ong's drawing. Right, my model, your model may be slightly different or maybe very different. But in the end, you are going to use your own model to try to work out the answer. So if your model is fantastic, there's no need to look at the problem. Right? If you have put all the numbers inside, you have the arrow sign, you have the question mark, you have the labelings, then you can just totally look at the model to work out the answer. Alright, so here we go. Now, we are going to do some cutting. Right? The reason why we keep the boxes empty so that we can do some cutting. Like for example, this is 54. So you cut out 54, right? And can you find the number in the box, right? The middle box. What is the number in the box? Now you have 351, which is over here, and you minus 54, and you minus another 54. Alright, so let's write down. So 351 minus 54 and minus 54, what do you get? And you will get 243. So the number in the box, right, the box in the middle, what is that? That is 243. So you can see that 54 plus 243 plus 54, that will give you 351. Okay, then you come down to the after model and you cut. Alright, cut. And this is 54 as well. And then can you see the box on the right side? What number is that? If you go upwards, you can see 243 and you come down. Alright, you come down. Alright, you can see that this is also the same, 243. Okay, and then you go down again to Eden's rectangle, which is the after, and you cut out 54 as well. Okay, so you can see that you keep the boxes empty so they can do all this. You can cut. So if you notice, if you look at the model, you can see 54 is, you can see all the 54s, which is straight down. And you can see 243, which is also straight down. Right? You look from top to the bottom, you have cut out the 243s, you also have cut out the 54s. Alright. And then what do? You can see on the left column, you have all the equal boxes, right? And they look all the same, all equal. But we are not going to call one unit. Why? Because you can see the one unit is already indicated in your model. Eden has one unit in the end. So we are not going to put one unit, and so on, alright? Because it doesn't make sense, right? Because you already have one unit inside your model. Alright, then what do? Well, we can leave the boxes empty. Alright, all the equal boxes, we can just leave it empty. And then what do we see? Can you find the difference? When you draw a model, it's always to try to find the difference. So David has 2 units in the end, Eden has 1 unit in the end. So the difference is 1 unit. And now can you see that your 1 unit is 243? So your 1 unit is 243. Then can you find the question mark? So how do you find the question mark? You can find 2 units, right? So Eden or David has how much in the end, which is 2 units. So 2 units will be 243, and then you times 2. So 243 times 2, and you will get 486. So David has 486 in the end, and then you work backwards. Why do you work backwards? Because David gave away 54. So now you must return him back 54 stickers. So you take 486 and you return back the 54 stickers that he has given to Eden. And how many stickers does David have at first? So 486 plus 54. So David has 540 stickers at first. And you solve the problem. Okay, now this problem doesn't really come out in Primary 4 exam because it's really quite it's more for Primary 5. But sometimes in the exam papers from other schools that Mr. Ong has looked at, you may see this problem appear in some schools. But otherwise, this problem is actually more towards Primary 5. Okay, but it's always good to learn how to draw the model, learn how to solve this problem, so that you are not caught by surprise if you see such questions coming out in your final year exams. Alright, so that's how you draw the model. Alright, you can see that drawing comes first, and then the solving comes later. Alright, let's go to the practice problem. Now, Chris had 154 more than Ryan at first. After Chris gave 262 to Ryan, that's a transfer. And then Ryan had 3 times as much as Christopher. So how much did they have altogether? So I'm going to give you about 5 to 10 minutes to work out this problem. Now, again, always focus on the drawing. Alright, draw out sentence by sentence. And then later, you look at the model and you solve it. Alright, so your time starts now. Alright, so have you managed to draw out the model? Okay, let's check. Now, there's an internal transfer going on, so the total is unchanged. Every time there's a transfer, total is unchanged. So before model, Chris had more than Ryan at first. So Chris, Ryan, and when you draw the comparison model, you always make sure that you have one long and one really short. So usually Mr. Ong will draw the short rectangle, which is about half the length of the longer rectangle. You want to be really, if you really want to be very careful, you can even draw less than half the length. Alright, just in case you need to transfer. You need to do some transferring of the boxes. Okay, now, so your $154 more is over here. So we don't put inside the box, all right? We don't put into the model, we don't put into the rectangle because we may need to cut it later, right? Now, after Chris gave 262 to Ryan, so there's a transfer. So you cut a little box here. This is your 262, all right, 262, and that box, oh, by the way, 262 is bigger than 154, so that is wrong. If you cut that little box, is wrong. Why? Because 262 is bigger than 154, so which means that you have it means that you have done the cutting wrongly. So you got to be careful. All right, compare the numbers before you cut. 262 is bigger than 154, so that's how you cut. All right. Okay, so Chris actually gave a lot of money, which is here, 262. And then Ryan received, right? Ryan will receive the money. So how are you going to draw Ryan receiving the money? Now, we are still in the before model. So Ryan is going to receive, but he hasn't received yet. So I'm going to draw a dotted box to show that he is going to receive. And again, it has to be, the dotted box has to be longer than 154. Right, the arrow sign for 154. Why? Because your 262, right? Your 262 is bigger than 154. So the rectangle must be longer than what? Your rectangle that you draw, which is the dotted box, must be longer than the arrow sign that you indicated just now. Okay? Alright, so that is your before model. So again, like what Mr. Ong said, how you draw, how I draw may be slightly different. But again, you draw as to the best that you can. Alright, in the end, you're going to look at your own model to solve it. Alright, now let's continue. Now, so how do we draw the after model? Okay, the after model, so let's draw the after model. Now Chris will have lesser and Ryan has much more. So again, dotted line, that's where you start your drawing. So Chris is going to be until, his rectangle is going to be until where? So you can use dotted lines to help you to draw your rectangle until the dotted line. Alright, that is Chris' money left. And then Ryan has a lot of money in the end. So his rectangle is going to be until that dotted line. Okay, so make use of dotted lines. Right, dotted lines is to show equal parts, and it can also be used to help you to draw the rectangle until where they need to be. Okay, now and then keep reading. Have we completed the model? After Chris gave 262 to Ryan, Ryan now had 3 times. So if you cut Ryan into 3 times, the 3 boxes will not look proportional because Chris has 1 time and his box is too short, right, to be 1 unit. So what do? We don't cut, because if once you start cutting, what happens? Then you won't be able to write anything in the box later. And then Chris over here, that will be 1 time or 1 unit. So Ryan has now 3 units and Chris has 1 time or 1 unit. Alright, how much did they have all together? So the total is unchanged. So you can either put the question mark here, or you can also put the question mark here, because the total is unchanged. And your model is done. Okay? So is there any solving? No, there's no solving. Alright, at the beginning, when Mr. Ong draws the model, there's no solving. It's always focusing on the drawing. Alright, so now we solve. We look at the model and we solve. Alright, here we go. Now, where is your 262? Now, your 262 that is given to Ryan is over here. Okay, this is your 262, right? And then where is your 154? Your 154 is until the dotted line. Until over here. This is your 154, the arrow sign that indicates $154 more. So I'm going to put that inside 154, and then can you find, or let me just do some highlighting. Alright, so now can you find how much is this green color box on the right side? You take 262 and you minus 154. Alright, so let's write down some steps. So you have 262 minus 154, and how much do you get? And you will get $108. So 108. And you put that into your model. Whatever numbers you found, you fill inside your model. Alright, and then what happens? Now if you look carefully, you can actually cut. Alright, can you see over here you cut, and you cut out 108. Okay, so let's use let's use a blue color and let's cut here. Okay, And then what happens? All right, and then can you also cut out? Right? Can you see this one? You can also cut over here, right? And that will be $154, right? $154. Okay, so let's put down. All right, let's use a green pen. This is $154. Okay, now if you don't understand, let me just draw dotted lines to show you why. Why is it? Why are the numbers like that? Okay, that is 108, right? You can see straight down, right? 108 on top, 108 below. And then over here, you can see 154 on top and 154 below, right? Okay, so maybe I can erase the 154 that's outside so that it looks neater, right? So you can always do some adjusting, right? After, when you look at your model, to study your model, you can always do some adjustment, right? Okay, now, then if you notice carefully, right? If you notice carefully, are you able to find how much is this, right? How much is this little small box? Yes. Can you see that your 262, right? Where is your 262? Your 262 is here. This is your 262, right? And you minus your 154, which is below, and you get the little box here. That is how much. So 262 minus 154. All right. So 262 minus 154. So how much would that be? So 262 minus 154, and you get, oh, you also get $108. Okay, so we realize that it's actually the same, right? 108 here, and you go down, and this is also 108. Okay, right? So you have cut and filled in the numbers already. All right, and then you can notice that on the left column, on the left side, you have all the boxes that look equal, right? And not only that, they're also called 1 unit. Why? Because it's indicated that's 1 unit. So you can start calling 1 unit, and of course this is also 1 unit, 1 unit, and 1 unit. Okay, all right. And then what do we do next? Now, when you draw a model, it's about trying to find the difference. All right, if you don't know how to continue, look for the difference. Now, can you see Ryan has 3 units in the end, and you minus Chris, who has 1 unit in the end, that will give you 2 units. Right, so Ryan has 2 units more than Chris. All right, and that 2 units more is also how much more? It is also, you take 108 plus 154 plus 108. That is your 2 units. All right, so 2 unit equal, all right, equal to 108 plus 154 and plus 108. Okay, and what do you get? So 108 plus 154. Okay, 108 plus 154 plus 108, and that will be $370. So your 2 unit is 370. So your 1 unit will be 370 divided by 2. That will be $185. All right. So where's the question mark? Is to find their total money in the total money. So how much they have altogether? So you can see that Chris has 1 unit in the end. Ryan has 3 units in the end. So whether it's before and after, their total is unchanged. So you can find 4 units. So 4 units will be 185 times 4, and that will be $740. So their total money in the end is $740, and the total at first will also be the same. All right, so you have solved the problem. So what is their total money, or how much they have altogether? $740. All right, so you can see that, wow, the model looks not quite easy to draw, but actually as you keep drawing, it becomes quite easy. Now, however, like what I mentioned just now, this kind of problem is not really common in the P4 exam, right? It is more inclined, more towards the P5, right? More towards the P5 problems. But in the event that, or in case if you see this problem that comes out in your P4 exam papers, oh, well, that's how you draw the model, okay? Now, you can see the model takes a while to draw. By the time you finish drawing the model, what happens? It's about 10 minutes gone already. All right, so when you come to P5, there is a better way, a better way to solve this kind of before and after problem, which is tabulation. All right, so there is another way, another method to solve this problem much faster than just than just drawing out the problem. You can see it takes a while to draw, and also you got to be very careful when you draw, because if you make any mistake in your drawing, then you will get stuck. So when we go to P5, we will use tabulation method. But on this Facebook group, group that we have formed, now we will still be drawing model, right? Because we are looking at how we draw model for all the problems that we will see from P3 to P6. So when we come to P5 drawing lessons, we will still be using model, all right? Because that's what schools are doing, all right? Most of the schools, they are drawing model, so we will still have to draw model to show you how to draw. But for those of you who are not so good at drawing, then you may want to switch your method to before and after tabulation, which is actually much faster. There won't be any drawing. Everything is all put into a form of a table, and you can easily get the answer also. Alright, so there are actually two methods, right, to solve before and after problem: model drawing and tabulation. Alright, so we come to the end of our P4 online drawing lessons. Alright, so in the next lesson, we will start on P5. So we'll be looking at quite challenging problems. Alright, the problems will have percentage, ratio, fractions, everything all mixed together in a problem. So we are going to use all these topics, all right, to draw out the model. All right, so it's going to be quite exciting. All right, you will see a lot of interesting things that are coming. All right, you will learn a lot of things as well. So hopefully by the end of all these drawing lessons, you will become more confident, and when you go back to school, you will know how to draw out your model very, very accurately. Alright, so I will see you in the next lesson.